look that changed everything. The snow hit hard that night. The wind howled through the dark sky of Creona 4, an icy planet far from any main space path. Human scout Liam pulled his coat tight and dragged himself through the cold, each step heavier than the last. His ship had crashed 2 days ago, his signal was broken, and now all he could do was walk and hope. He saw the cave by accident, half covered in ice, hidden behind frozen rocks. A small glow came from inside. He moved closer, too cold to care if it was danger or shelter. Inside, a fire burned, and beside it stood a tall figure with gray-purple skin, sharp yellow eyes, and a spear in hand. An alien, a woman. She didn't attack him. She simply raised the spear and said, "You are not welcome here, human." Liam held up both hands. "I don't want to fight. I just need heat." She stared at him, then nodded once. One night. Liam sat near the fire, careful not to get too close. The woman sat across from him, watching like a hawk. They didn't speak for a while. Just the sound of crackling flames, and two people breathing in different rhythms. Finally he said, "Thank you." "Don't," she replied. He studied her face. Strong jaw, high cheekbones, long hair tied back with bone beads. She wore old armor, scratched from battle. Her eyes never stopped moving, not even for a second. But when their eyes met, Liam didn't look away. She noticed her eyebrows lowered. "Why are you looking at me that way, human?" Liam didn't flinch. "Because you look like someone who was never meant to be alone." The fire popped. She blinked once, then said nothing. Liam turned away, warming his hands, but he could still feel her gaze on him now. Sharper, curious. After a few minutes, she finally spoke again. "What do you know about being alone?" Liam gave a half-smile. "Enough to see it in someone else." She looked at the fire. "You humans speak too easily. We die fast, so we talk fast." She let out a short, dry breath. "Your words are strange, but not wrong." The storm outside grew louder. The wind screamed through the rocks. Liam leaned back against the cave wall. "Do you live here?" he asked. "I survive here." "Same." "No, you're a visitor. I'm the dust beneath the sky." He didn't understand the phrase, but he felt the weight in her voice. She didn't ask about his ship. She didn't ask about Earth. She didn't even ask his name. But she threw a dried food pack toward him and said, "Eat." He nodded. "Thanks, Sarah." Liam. They sat again in silence. This time it wasn't cold. Before they slept, she pulled a blanket over herself, blade still in her hand. Liam curled up near the fire, still watching her, not out of fear, but out of something else, something he didn't understand yet. Sarah noticed again. "Stop staring. Sorry. You don't know me." "Maybe not," Liam said. "But I feel like I've met the storm behind your eyes." Her hand gripped the blanket tighter. Then she turned her back to him. "Sleep, human. Morning decides if you leave or stay." Liam closed his eyes, but in his mind he saw her face again. The question she asked, the way she didn't know what was ahead, and how that one look had already started to change everything. Shelter of two minds. When Liam woke, the fire was out, cold air wrapped around him like ice cloth. He sat up slowly, bones stiff, head heavy. Sarah was already standing near the cave's entrance, armor on, spear in hand, hair blowing with the wind. She hadn't slept, not even a little. "Do you ever rest?" Liam asked. She didn't turn, not when someone unknown is near. "I didn't kill you in your sleep," he said, half smiling. "I didn't sleep," she replied. He stood, rubbing warmth into his hands. "You always this friendly in the morning? You're still alive. That's friendly enough." Outside, the storm had calmed, but the world beyond the cave was still white, still deadly. Liam looked out beside her. Nothing but endless snow and cracked hills. "My ship is 5 clicks that way," he said, buried deep. "Then it's useless," she replied. "Not fully. Power cell might still work. Maybe send a signal. Sarah stared at the wind, thinking, then said, "Fine, we go at noon." Hours passed. Inside the cave, Liam found a cracked circuit box and tried to fix it just to stay busy. Sarah sat across from him, sharpening her blade with a long black stone. The silence was thick, until Liam spoke. "So, you ever meet other humans?" "Once." "How'd that go?" he screamed when he saw me. "And you?" I let him run. "Why?" He was afraid. Weak prey dies fast. Liam stopped working and looked at her. "Do you think I'm weak?" Sarah didn't answer. Instead, she asked, "Why did you really come to this world? Scouting, resources, maps." "No one risks this place for maps." He sighed. "I asked to be posted here. Needed quiet. Needed out." "You ran?" "Maybe." Sarah tilted her head. "I don't respect runners. I wasn't running. From war," Liam said. "I was running from silence that never stopped." Sarah lowered her stone. For the first time, she looked at him, not with judgment, but with something softer. Understanding. "What about you?" Liam asked. "What about me?" "You live out here alone. No friends, no patrols, no name tags." "Why?" Sarah's jaw tightened. She said nothing. Liam didn't push. When the sun hit its highest point, they left. Liam carried his gear. Sarah walked ahead, her steps fast and quiet. They didn't speak much on the walk, but when Liam slipped on the ice, she grabbed his arm fast, held it a second longer than needed, then let go. They reached the crash site. Half of Liam's ship was buried under a mound of ice and broken trees. The signal core was cracked, but parts inside still blinked. Liam dug in, hands shaking from cold. Sarah stood guard, eyes on the horizon. "Almost done," Liam muttered. "We have little time." She said, "Give me 5 minutes." Just as he powered the backup signal, a sharp sound hit the wind. Sarah's head turned fast. "Stay low," she ordered. Liam crouched. "What is it?" "Not wind, not storm. Movement." She raised her spear and moved a few steps toward the ridge. Then she stopped. Her voice dropped. "I know that sound. It's them." "Them?" "My people." Liam looked confused. "Aren't they supposed to be allies?" Sarah didn't blink. "Not when you carry shame." The signal light blinked green. Liam whispered, "I can call a human ship. We can go." Sarah stood still. "You go," she said. "What about you?" She looked at him, eyes calm but burning. "They don't want me to leave. They want me to vanish." Liam stood slowly. "Then let's vanish together." She looked at him like he was made of something rare. Not strong, not broken, but real. The storm within. The storm came fast. Thick snow poured from the sky like falling ash. Wind screamed like voices in pain. They barely made it back to the cave, before the world disappeared in white. Liam threw down his gear. His hands were raw from cold. He could barely see. Sarah pulled him inside, shut the cave wall tight with a stone slab, and sealed the entrance with thick cloth. Inside, it was dark and quiet. The fire was dead. They had no dry fuel left, just breath and silence. Liam sat near the center, knees pulled to his chest. Sarah sat a few steps away, silent as stone. Neither spoke for a long time. Liam broke the silence. "They were close, weren't they?" Sarah nodded once. "Yes. You knew they were hunting you." "Always." "Why?" She didn't answer. He leaned back, staring at the roof of the cave. "When I joined the Scout Corps, I wanted to be a hero. Chart the stars. Save the day." He gave a cold laugh. "Instead, I crashed into ice, and now I sit in silence with someone who wants nothing to do with me." Sarah looked at him slowly. "You talk too much." "I talk because if I don't, the silence eats me." She didn't reply. He closed his eyes, whispering, "You said you live here, but you didn't say why." Another pause. Then, "Because I broke the law," she said. Liam sat up. What law? I refuse to follow a bond chosen for me. Marriage? Sarah nodded. We do not choose. Matches are made by the order. Bloodlines, power, strength. And you said no? Yes. Liam looked at her carefully. You were exiled for wanting your own life. They said I was dangerous, too wild, too emotional. He smiled. You? Emotional? She turned her eyes toward him, and in a low voice, said, I cried when they told me to kneel. I cried, and then I ran. He didn't speak after that. The storm outside grew louder. Inside, her voice grew softer. I built this cave myself. No one helped me. No one cared. But I kept breathing. Liam whispered, You're not alone anymore. Sarah stood slowly, walked over, and sat beside him, her voice barely a whisper now. No one has ever said that to me. Liam looked at her. Really looked. Not as a warrior, not as an alien, but as someone hurt and still standing. I meant it, he said. Her hand brushed his. Just a little, but enough. Neither of them moved after that. They sat side by side as the storm howled around the cave, two people who should have hated each other, learning they no longer wanted to be alone, hunted and exposed. The storm ended at dawn. The sky was soft gray and fresh snow covered everything like a thick blanket. Inside the cave, Liam and Sarah sat near the cold ashes of the fire. Neither had slept much. Liam packed his tools. Sarah sharpened her blade. They both knew. Silence meant danger was close. Liam stepped outside first. His boots sank deep into the snow. He scanned the horizon. No wind. Too quiet, he whispered. Sarah joined him, eyes narrowed. They're here. Less than an hour later, they heard it, a sharp whine in the distance. Not wind, not animal, but scout bikes. Fast, light, deadly. Sarah grabbed Liam's arm. Run. I'm not leaving you. I'm not asking. They ran, through narrow paths, over frozen ridges deeper into the rocks. But the bikes were faster. Within minutes, two dark figures appeared on the hill behind them, glowing visors locked onto their heat. A voice called out in alien tongue. Liam didn't understand, but Sarah didn't. Stop running. Surrender the human. Return to your punishment. Sarah's face turned hard. She shouted back, He is under my shield. Come for him, and you come through me. The scouts fired a warning blast. It hit the snow just meters away. Liam pulled out a small flare gun, ready to fight. Sarah stepped in front of him. I fight. You survive. No, he said. We do both. They ducked behind a fallen ice wall. Liam took cover while Sarah moved to higher ground. The scouts moved in, fast, silent, trained. But Sarah was faster. With a spin and a leap, she slammed, one off his bike and knocked him into the snow. The other raised his weapon. Liam shouted, Sarah! The shot fired. She turned too late. The bolt hit her shoulder. Hard. She fell back with a cry. Liam ran toward her without thinking, grabbed her body, dragged her through the snow, slipping, sliding, screaming her name. The second scout moved closer. Liam raised the flare gun, fired. It hit the scout's mask. Not enough to kill, but enough to blind him. Liam didn't wait. He carried Sarah back to the cave with everything he had, step by step, breath by breath. Inside, he laid her down, her skin pale, her breathing weak. Stay with me, he said. Liam, you're warm, she whispered, eyes half closed. You're freezing. So are you. He sealed the cave again, wrapped her in everything he could find, used his own jacket to press against the wound. Her blood was dark purple, thick, strange. But it still meant one thing. Life. Outside, the scout ship rose back into the sky. They had failed. But the message was sent. She was no longer hiding. And now, the real hunt would begin. Inside, Liam held her hand. You saved me, he whispered. You carried me, she replied, weak but smiling. We're even now? She nodded slowly. No more running, he said. Then we fight. Healing, without pride. 3 days passed. The snow outside the cave melted slightly, leaving ice trails across the rock. The air was still cold, but the sky had cleared. Inside, the fire burned soft and steady. Sarah lay wrapped in blankets, her eyes half open, her breathing slow but strong. The wound on her shoulder was healing, not fast but steady. Liam stayed beside her the entire time. He cooked dry food over the fire. He boiled snow for water. He checked her pulse with fingers that barely stopped shaking. But he never left. On horror, the second night she finally spoke again. You should have left me. Liam looked up from the fire. No. I would have done the same. Protected you. Bought time. I know, he said. But that's not the point. Then what is? I didn't carry you to be even. I did it because I care. Sarah turned her head slowly. Why? Because you've been strong for so long, Liam said. Someone had to be strong for you. She didn't answer, but her eyes stayed on him longer than before. He moved beside her, adjusting her blanket. You're getting better, he said, because you didn't give up. Because we didn't. Silence fell again, but it wasn't empty. Later that evening, she sat up with help. Liam handed her a heated drink. She took it with both hands, holding it gently. In my world, she said, asking for help is weakness. Your world sounds lonely. She nodded. It is. He stirred the fire. Do you miss it? Sometimes, she said, but not as much as I feared. Do you regret saving me? Sarah looked straight at him. Not for a second. They sat together, shoulder to shoulder, her body still sore but no longer weak. He glanced at her softly. Can I ask something stupid? You already have. Then one more. She smiled faintly. Ask. What would have happened if I didn't? Look at you that way the first night? Sarah paused. Her voice dropped low. Then I would still believe no one could ever truly see me. Liam looked down, then said, I saw you before you knew who you were to me. She replied, and I never stopped thinking about the way you did. They didn't hold hands. They didn't kiss. But something passed between them, stronger than a touch, deeper than a word. Understanding. As the fire cracked quietly, Liam leaned his head back against the cave wall. When you're better. What do you want to do? Sarah thought for a while, then said, Leave this world. He smiled. With me? She looked at him and whispered, There's no other way I'd go. The choice to return. On the 7th day, the signal reached orbit. Liam's emergency beacon, wired from broken ship parts and half-fried circuits, finally found something, a human ship. He heard the beep at sunrise. Soft, steady. He stared at the E, blinking light in silence, then called out, Sarah. It worked. She sat up slowly, still weak but stronger than before. What does that mean? A rescue team is coming. Sarah looked at the light, then at him. How long? 1 day, maybe less. She nodded once, but her eyes were full of questions. The cave felt colder after that, not from weather but from the weight of goodbye. Liam packed slowly. He folded his old jacket, checked his boots, rewired the beacon one last time. Sarah watched, him from across the fire. Finally, she said, You want me to come, don't you? Of course. What if I say no? He looked at her carefully. Then I stay. She blinked. You would give up your world? For me? I already have, Liam said softly. The day I chose not to run. She stood, her balance steady. Now walked over to him. You don't know what my people will do if they catch us. They see this bond as poison. Then we show them it isn't. They sat together again, but this time no space between them. Sarah placed her hand over his. I'm not afraid of leaving exile, she said. I'm afraid of taking you into danger. Liam looked at her. I faced a snowstorm with you. I'll face anything else. By nightfall, they heard the ship in the distance, breaking through the clouds, loud and real. Liam stood. So did Sarah. He took her hand. Last chance, he said. I'm not asking you to leave who you are behind, just to walk forward with me. Sarah didn't answer with words. She stepped closer, pressed her forehead lightly to his, and whispered, yes. They walked out of the cave together, into the wind, toward the ship. But at the landing site, 3 shapes were already waiting. Not humans, not friends, her people. They stood in long, dark robes, blades at their sides. One spoke. You were warned, Sarah. You chose the human. Now choose again. Liam stepped forward. She's not choosing between us. Sarah's voice cut through the air. I already made my choice. I walk with him. The tallest figure stepped aside. Then speak your truth. To the high circle. Not in hiding, not with fear. Return, and face them. Sarah looked at Liam. This wasn't the plan, he said. No, she replied. But maybe. It's the right ending. He touched her shoulder gently. Whatever happens next, I'm with you. Not just a look anymore. They stood in the center of the great circle. Dozens of alien faces watched in silence. Warriors, elders, judges. Sarah stood tall, her chin high, her blade on her back, but her hand was in Liam's. She didn't hide it. She didn't hide him. The council speaker rose, his voice echoed through the hall. Sarah of Clan Vastal, you return from exile with a human by your side. Explain yourself. Sarah didn't blink. I broke your law, she said, but I did not break my honor. You were warned. Love for outsiders is not weakness, she cut in. It's a choice, and I made mine with open eyes. A wave of quiet gasps passed through the room. No one interrupted her. She stepped forward. This human saved me. Not just from death, but from myself. Liam looked at her surprised, but she kept speaking. He looked at me like I was more than blood, more than war, more than duty. He looked at me like I mattered. She paused, then turned her eyes toward him. That first night, when you looked at me, I didn't understand it, she said. I thought it was weakness. Now I know it was truth. An elder asked, what truth? Sarah turned to face them all. That strength is not how loud you speak, or how sharp your weapon is. It's how soft you can be, without breaking. Liam squeezed her hand. He finally stepped forward. His voice was calm, clear, and full of heart. I never came here to take anything. I only gave what she was missing, someone who listened. He paused. And I'll keep listening. If you let me, the council whispered among themselves. Then slowly the speaker stood again. Sarah, your actions were reckless, but your words carry weight. He looked at the others, then back at her. You are no longer exile. And he looked at Liam, is no longer outsider. The hall was silent until the oldest elder stood and bowed his head. Your bond is seen. The warriors lowered their blades. No one spoke, but everyone understood. Outside, as the sun rose over the cliffs of Creona 4, Sarah and Liam walked together down the old stone path, side by side, not as exiles, not as strangers, but as equals. Liam looked at her quietly. She noticed and smiled. You're still looking at me that way, she teased. I never stopped, he said. Why? He stepped closer. Because now he had the answer. Because you are everything I didn't know I was waiting for. Why are you looking at me that way, human? She once asked. Now she smiled, because she finally understood. He saw her before anyone else dared to.